Hi guys, how you doing? It's been
We're home!
yes, we're home. It's been some time. It's been almost it's been a month. We've been trying to upload videos and it was really hard while we were in Buenos Aires because internet es malísimo en Argentina.
Yes, we couldn't actually, even with the lowest resolution, we couldn't upload videos to YouTube. And so we only made one and we saved it and we posted a couple of days ago. And now it's time for our Buenos Aires Redux
Experience.
report.
The report. So like for the ones that saw the previous video, we were answering some questions. This video, on that video we mentioned we were in Buenos Aires for different reasons, and one of the reasons the championship it was there, and normally I always say at least we don't share a lot of things that happen on the championship. That's why for many years we haven't been involved, neither preparing people, neither in competing, and etc.
When Ivan says we don't share, he's translating, and what he means
No comparto. No comparto. Okay, so how do you say it?
He means that he is not in agreement with.
Yes. Okay. See, that's how I have.
You see how he ambushed me with this video. His hair is all perfectly brushed, and he's all ready to go. And I just got out of stretching, so I look like this.
But I set up the whole thing here, so then you can look better. Look, they can see you more now than me. So then you complain.
Anyway.
So we were in Buenos Aires because it was a couple from Russia that we were working with, and we were helping them on the competition. We did the choreography for them, and I'm gonna specify we had before there is any confusion. It's a project that I did with my sister. We built everything with my sister in the beginning, with all these trips going back and forth. And then when Sara went with me to Moscow, we keep working with them, very much clean everything up to make it look in a particular way. And then while we were in Buenos Aires, we retouched the whole, how do you say, the whole idea behind it. That for us, well, I don't know if you guys know, but so that's what we tell you. Doing a choreography is not a question of just putting steps to music. It have to be a whole idea behind it, and this little one is really good at it. So she helps me to do that and helps the guys while in Buenos Aires to finish it up in a way, the whole idea behind all the creation that I did with Antonella. Yes?
Keep going.
Okay. So, what can we tell you about the championship? For us, it was really stressful because we are watching a couple, it's kind of like your babies that are, you've been seeing them working and fixing all these different things that we tell them how to do it. And then we see them on stage and then we are more nervous than them, which is strange because normally, it's easier when you perform, you don't get as nervous. So that was the first thing. It was really stressful, and also to try to understand how everything works there. We more or less know for a lot of friends and colleagues that they've been there and they still compete and stuff. So we know a lot of the things about the politics and all this stuff. But being in there is a completely different game in a way.
Yeah, so maybe we should be organized in what we talk about. Because it's a lot of stuff.
We might have to do another video about this.
I think we should. I think we should talk about maybe the process of training people and what we work with them, and then maybe later we can talk about. See, someone has to keep order.
That's why I have Sara. Go ahead.
Someone goes on flights of fancy.
What?
Flights of fancy. Order. Flights of fancy.
Translation. Significa que?
Okay.
Anyway,
So basically, what does it involve to train? It really depends on what it is that your goal is and what it is that you want to do.
And again, we're talking about our experience of how we like to do it, and I don't know how other people does it. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, for the couple that came with us to Argentina, they were competing in both salon and on stage, and so we were working on things both like as technique and as expression and performance. The technique parts are important for both salon and stage for us. We don't think that you should just like memorize a choreography. For us, choreography is lead and follow, and that's what makes it look different and really makes the couple look much more together. So we were really emphasizing technique in the training, and also in terms of expression, it's really important to understand why you do what you do. So every movement that you're doing has to have a purpose, and that purpose has to be clear, because if the purpose behind the movement is not clear, you also don't know what it is that you do when you move. So
it's like you and then just moving.
Yeah, especially since like any movement can have any kind of expression. I mean, you can move your arm, and you can move your arm in the same way, but you
say
know,
something different.
you can say something different. You can say you're sad, or you're happy, or you're angry, or whatever. So the same movement can have an overlay of different types of emotions, and this is also why it's really important to understand why you move. So training was really intense, and we worked
many hours, from 4 to 5 hours. I think mostly 4. Yeah.
I think less. We worked around 3 hours.
No,
maybe per day.
when I started with them, because I went a little bit earlier, we did at least 4 hours per day.
Yeah.
And then we ended up doing 3.
And then less and less, because you need to do less and less and less. But also for us, it was really important that it isn't, you know, the purpose of training isn't just to do well in the championship.
So, now that you bring it up, one of the reasons why that word that I use, we don't share, or no compartimos, we don't agree with a lot of things in the championship, is not because of the championship itself. I think the championship itself is a good thing and a way to promote tango in general, and
it's also a good goal. Like, if you've been dancing for a while, or you haven't been dancing for a while, competing in the championship like gives you a reason to keep improving.
Yeah. Besides that, you want to get better, and then socially better, etc., etc., etc. Some people sometimes want to take it a little more to, you know, to a different level, and sometimes competing in the championship will help you to do that. For a long time, there were mostly amateur couples, and lately there are a lot of professional couples that they're competing.
And in terms of, you know, the other thing about the championship is that it really brings a lot of dancers together in one place.
Yes.
And so it's a good way to meet other people who enjoy the same thing that you do, and share a lot of camaraderie and a lot of nice moments. And so it's also a really great experience, because you can sort of admire the art of other people and share in this wonderful energy and the work that everybody is.
It's like there is a lot of good things. Eh?
Yeah.
What we are not crazy about is they start to happen that obviously it's a competition, everybody wants to win. Even if they say, no, I'm not really crazy about that, I just want to compete and have a good time. Behind that, everybody, when they go to a competition, they have the hope that they're going to get a good prize or whatever. The problem is that people start thinking only about that, and they start forgetting about the process. The process is not important anymore, and the whole point is just to get a good position in the championship, because eventually it can help you for work, right? How do you say, it's like a big door to the world, in a way, if you win, to then work for at least for 1 year that you have guaranteed work, and if you do well, you keep working after that.
Yeah, it's like an opportunity, and some people are more capable of taking it, and others are not. So if there are some champions that end up, you know, working more or becoming more prominent, you know, they're just better able to seize the opportunity that was given to them.
Yeah.
And interesting, the tendencies for more salon champions to have better opportunities than stage champions, and I think this is pretty correct because in the stage in the salon championship, people are more oriented towards social dancing, and so the perception is because they are more social dancers, they're also probably better at teaching, or their skill set is more transferable to teaching social dancers, and so they tend to travel more and have more opportunities.
Well, at least for people, it's a little more, how do you say?
It's closer.
It's closer to what you might want to do. Not everybody that dance socially or in tango in general will want to do something more stage, right?
Yeah.
That requires a different type of work.
Yeah.
So what I wanted to say about this, it was that the problem why we don't like the way that people start to training, it was just that they start forgetting about really wanting to learn tango. And don't get me wrong with this, but it's because you had it a few months, yes, to be able to go and compete, and you have to fit in a particular set of rules. You know, in the championship you have to have some rules, even if we, like some friends of us give us this great comment that I agree with. It's kind of like a game with no rules, right? Tango is like, it's really hard to judge. Everybody will do it differently, and it's been like that for years and years and years, and it's something really hard to standardize if they keep talking about it on the sense of style, right? A lot of people, they mix what it means technique and what it means style. If you can standardize a little more technique, which we believe that there are some things that are possible, it will be a little bit easier. But because people keep judging style, if you don't step with the heel versus the toe, then oh no, for me they have to step with the heel, no, for me they have to step with the toes, then the judging system for me it doesn't really work. I mean, what are you judging? Oh, I don't like her dress, or I don't like her suit, or I don't like he bent more the knees, or he doesn't bend the knees as much. That's just a question of taste and how do you say, personal thing, which is interesting because in tango is one of the things that for many years many people talk about, the idea of that tango have to be personal, and that you have to be you, that you don't want to copy, and all of this is like, for years it's been like that, and somehow it's kind of a little bit ¿cómo se dice? Como que va en contra, contradictory, that at the same time these people that they say, you know, that you should be personal, you should try to find your style, you don't want to copy anybody, because tango was like that, nobody copy anybody. They're the ones talking about no, but you know, he stepped with the heel. That's tango is not like that. And I'm sorry, but that's not a technical thing that you step with the heel or you step with the toe. It's a question of, again, taste. It's your personal, it's your choice, so it's your personal style. So at the same time that we're talking about let's be different, right? Let's tell people they have to find, you know, that they're personal. So then everybody is different. At the same time, you're telling them how to be personal. So then they're not being personal.
Yeah. So I guess.
Go ahead.
It's kind of like two different issues, I guess. The first issue is, what are the rules of the game?
No.
So initially, the way that the championship was set up, and this was changed I think last year or 2 years ago, there were certain rules about what you could and could not do, because it was called Tango Salon, and so somebody came up with rules of what you cannot do in Tango Salon, and that included ganchos, that included lifting,
that you could
woman
not do.
lifting her foot more than the knee. There was some like very specific, like the embrace couldn't open more than this. It was like very, very specific. And so what ended up happening is people kind of reduced the dance to some kind of fake dance. And so what ended up happening is that a championship style of tango developed that in in really didn't have any organic connection to what people are actually doing on the dance floor now. So that's the first issue, is how do you, the rules of the game. So the rules used to be super restrictive, and they made this fake tango. And because people then wanted to obey the rules and they wanted to compete, they sort of started to spread this fake tango. I don't think it's true that you can't do a gancho, you can't lift your foot above your knee. What you do on the dance floor has to be appropriate for the conditions of the dance floor and your skill set, and the skill set of your partner, and your ability to move, and the movement of the floor. So, basically really highly skilled dancers. I don't know if any of you listening or watching have ever been to La Viruta, but like some years ago, I think there was like 400 people on that dance floor. It was crazy. And people were doing boleos and off-axis movements and all kinds of crazy stuff in super tight places. And no one ever hit anybody. And it's not that, they shouldn't have done it. It's just that their skill and the skill of the floor and the movement of the floor allowed for that kind of movement.
And again, we're not saying that this have to be everywhere. There are place and place, but that doesn't mean that...
Like, there shouldn't be just blanket restrictions of what you can and cannot do, especially if, if you go back and you watch some of the videos from the 70s and the 80s, and people are obviously doing barridas and boleos and ganchos and all these kinds of things on the social dance floor.
Yeah, also obviously there are some milongas you had more space, so you can do that, and other ones you don't have so much space, and I understand why not, right?
Yeah, so that's the one issue. One issue is like the rules. The second issue is, what is the second issue?
For me, that I wanted to finish before, it was so because people are training for this to fit in a particular style, they skip the learning process of what it means to really dance tango. That for us it have to do with leading and following, so then you can actually dance together socially with anybody that dance socially.
Yeah, I mean, for me it's really shocking to hear I can't dance with her because I dance milonguero
and she
dances salon, or she dances nuevo, or he dances nuevo, and I can't dance with her. I mean, that's really sad. That makes me profoundly sad, especially to hear something like that as a follower. The beauty of following is this capacity we should learn. I mean, this is the first thing we should learn as followers. We should learn two things. One, to move ourselves, because if we can move ourselves, then we can move.
And you're dancing.
And the second thing is that you should be able to adapt your movement. Your technique should allow you to adapt your movement or your style to accompany whatever the style of the leader who you're dancing with. So that's really fundamental and super important. And to hear, I can't dance with him because he dances nuevo and I dance salon, is really sad. I mean, you might not like it. Maybe you don't like nuevo movements, or you don't like that feeling or the embrace or whatever, but to say I can't dance, yes. That's a little...
That's become something limited, and this is one of the things why I think many people love tango, because it's a really complex dance, and there is anything, respecting just the embrace, there's anything that you can do. So it's really sad that it becomes this with time. I can understand when there is massification in a way, there's a lot of dancers, quality will start to go down for many reasons, but it's too bad that again, and this is, I say, we're like the teachers, it's too bad that the teachers are not helping for this. Like, of course, the championship, this is the other thing, is a business now too. If you have a few couples, you have a lot of private classes, if you charge them for the choreography, all the training over the year, it's a good business if you think about it. But people are only going for that, so then they will build you a choreography, they will fix it, you do a little more like this and a little like that, but that doesn't mean that they're helping you to learn tango in a way. Like, to really understand that you still you still have to respect the idea of lead and following. And I don't care what tango do you dance, nuevo, stage, whatever you want to call it.
I mean, with very few exceptions, pretty much everything, including stage, should be lead and follow, right? I mean, if you're dancing tango, you should be able to lead and follow.
Yeah, obviously there are some things that
like
that's what they call tricks, right? That yes, there are some things that you cannot lead, but the rest, it should be like that. And this, I mean, it can take us again to keep talking about this and talk about only stage and then only salon, and we could be hours talking about it. What are the things that are happening? But to come back to what we were saying before, that's what it bothers us a little bit, and this is what we try to do with our students. That we have some students that they're interested in competing, and we tell them in a way that it's a good thing, it's a good goal, you want to go, it's a great experience, a lot of people do it for a reason, but I'm not saying don't go with the idea of winning, because at some point you're going to have that idea you want, and that's what pushes you a little bit. But it should be like, I want to dance better than what I used to dance like last year.
Yeah.
It's like you want to get better like yourself. And if that helps you to eventually get a prize, whatever, you know, that is the prize for you, and if it's in the championship and they consider that you are the best dancer that year, then again we can also talk about that, or how do that happens, because it's not really realistic sometimes. Who end up winning, and that we can have a whole video about that. But I just think in general the people, they only want that result, and they're not going for really like, I want to learn how to dance better.
Yeah, so our priority is always working on the stuff that will just make you a better dancer, period. And with the eye towards, okay, we are working to be better, and a way that we can sort of show what we've done is to go to the Mundial and show that from year to year, or over a certain period of time, there has been an improvement in the dance. And I think that's a more important goal than just focusing on the result. Especially since the result is
A lottery.
A lottery.
Sorry, but
that's a secondary thing. It's
thing.
like a different thing.
Yeah.
That the result is a lottery. But yeah, so whoever is watching, if you guys are interested in competing,
do it.
Do it. But please remember that the goal of the competition is not the competition itself. The goal of the competition is that you have some type of
Goal?
Not goal, but like some type of
No sé.
maybe goal.
Exactly that. A goal.
To look forward to, so you can keep improving and you can keep working on your dance, and meet people who are also interested in dancing tango as much as you are.
And again, it's a crazy month. Everyone and their mothers are there from all over.
Literally.
The world.
Literally everyone and their mother, including Ivan's mom.
Yes, my
Ivan's
mom was there.
came.
And so it's great, because you meet all these people when you go to the Milongas. They're really nice. I don't know. I think it's a great experience for the people that are competing. Even if you're not competing and you want to go there and
just experience,
it's really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think with this one we should
cut.
We'll cut, and we'll do another video for the other one.
Maybe we should say something else about. Let me see if I can think of anything else that we want to say now.
Yes. We're in our house. We are with our doggy. They're sleeping.
Yeah, just reminding you. Feel free to send us questions.
Send us questions, anything.
Or ask us, or anything you want to know about sort of training and what's a good idea and what's not a good idea. But yeah.
Anyways, we see you in the next video.